Today is from random to recognize. I think this is what every agent's goal is, right? To be the very first name that people call when they think of real estate, right? And I think the biggest issue is that many agents are invisible, right? In our industry or in our neighborhood or in our board, I think there's like what, 20,000 plus agents. Of those agents do predominantly most of the work, right? How do you become the go-to agent that people remember, that people call? What do you guys think?
You constantly advertise yourself, put yourself out there on social
Constant-
media.
Constantly, right? So a lot of agents are more event-based than campaign-based, aren't they? Let's think about it, right? Let's think about yourself as an example, and me as well, right? I as well have made mistakes where in the very beginning, I'm like, okay, I got a listing. Let me do a post, right?
Yeah.
Why aren't people calling me? Right? Like I did one post, oh, posting doesn't work. Or an agent goes out door knocking. What's the purpose? Let's talk about door knocking, for example, right? I used to do that a lot when I first started. But what is the purpose of door knocking?
Well, trying to get a listing.
Yeah.
Get leads.
Trying to get it. Let's just play off of what Ram just said. Let's pretend I'm going door knocking. Right? I knock on the door. Do you think the seller's gonna say, Lily, I've been waiting for you. Come in. I want to sell my house. Let's sign this listing today.
No.
What are the chances of that happening? But in the eyes or in the minds of agents, they go door knocking thinking that they're gonna get listing. So they come back to the office and they're like, Ram, door knocking does not work. Right? Right?
Yeah.
So you tell yourself door knocking doesn't work. You spread the news to other agents in the office that door knocking doesn't work. And that is event-based, right? But in reality, what is the purpose of door knocking? What is our goal with door knocking?
Create the relationships, I would say.
Okay.
Also,
Build rapport, get people to know you, get leads.
Yeah.
Then later can convert into the business.
Yeah. You guys hear Ram? Yes or no? No, right?
No.
He says to build that relationship so that in the future, when they want to sell, that they think of you, right? So event-based is like you go out, you go door knock, you don't get a listing that day, that door knocking session, and you're like, forget it, this doesn't work. Whereas campaign-based is you go meet people, you go have conversations, right? You build that relationship. So let's say I knock on Ram's door and I have that conversation. Hi, this is Lily. My name is Lily. I'm a neighborhood realtor. How long have you lived here? Right? I'm just gonna go straight forward. How long have you lived here? Oh, no, we're not interested. No, not a problem. You know, if you were to move, where would you move to? Or it could be, hey, my name's Lily. I'm with EXP. I want to invite you to an open house I'm having at 6754 Groton Street. Here's the flyer. If you know of any friends or family members looking to move into the neighborhood, would you please share this open house event with them? By the way, how long have you lived here? If you were to move, where would you move to? And when do you think that'll be? Right? Sometimes they'll say, no, we're not moving. Not a problem. Right? And you're just building that relationship. Or you're going to say, not a problem. I am a neighborhood realtor. I've lived here for over 30 plus years. I pride myself on educating neighbors about the market. Would you like information about new listings that come up or what's going on in the community? Right? You capture their information, you put it in your CRM, you build a campaign instead of event-based. And I think that is the biggest issue that agents have. They do one thing, they do it one time, they do it 2 times, and then they say it doesn't work.
Also like, we are looking for a quick business, right? So
Yeah.
that's the concerning.
You guys are like firefighters. You grab everything in sight, right? Instead of being architects. Architects build from the ground up. So when I first started in real estate 25 years ago, I was just like that. It was like whatever phone call came, I was outdoor, right? And I worked on the urgent instead of building the business the right way. Until this day, when I observe other agents, I see the difference. And I see the difference between agents that have been in the business 5 years, 10 years, but in reality, it's still like their first year in the business because they did not build it like an architect. They did not build it like a business owner, right? Now I want you guys to picture yourself 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Are you still going to be chasing the business or do you want them to call you? What's easier,
You want them to call you.
right? You want them to call you. Guys, I don't prospect anymore. I don't prospect anymore. A lot of my business now is through name recognition, referrals, past clients. But in the beginning, I'm not saying don't prospect. You guys are brand new. Nobody knows who you are. You need to prospect. You need to build your name. But you need to build like an architect, do it like a campaign and not an event, not just event-based, one here, 2 months later, another post, 3 months later, only when I have activity. No, that's not how you do it. Okay, so let me go back to my notes. Our business, whether you want to believe it or not, is a commodity business. You yourself, you are the commodity. You yourself, you are the brand, right? So I want you guys to think about your name right now. What is your brand? And I want you to Google yourself. What comes up? When people are working with you, you think they're going to Google you? Are you happy with what they find when they Google you? And if you're not happy with what you find, how are you going to fix that? How are you going to use that as the base of growing your brand and your name? Okay? You want to be a hot commodity. That is the goal. The goal is that 5 years from now, 10 years from now, I know that in 23 days, that's when January 1st happens, right? We only have 23 more days of 2025, right? I want to know starting in 2026 that no matter what I do, I'm still going to have business, right? And I don't want to be worried that people aren't going to call me. So you have to start building your name, your brand. Okay? So I don't want you to work on building yourself only when business shows up. That is the biggest issue I see right now. And some of you guys are probably thinking, well, I'm brand new. How do I find events or things that I could do to build my brand and my name? What do you guys think? A lot of agents are just sitting there, right? Waiting for business. How do you go generate business? How do you build your brand? Networking. Networking events, right? That's one. What are some networking events?
Expos. Like co-op expos,
Yeah.
real expos.
Triple play, right? That's where Vincent is right now. Vincent goes to conventions, he goes to triple play, he meets a lot of people, he gets referrals from different agents, from different brokers, from different states. Right? So think of yourself now in this networking event, right? Now let's just use the networking event and think campaign base. When you go to this networking event, are you sitting at the corner talking to people you already know? But do people do that? Why?
It's easier.
Because that's comfortable, right? That's what they're comfortable with. We're gonna have an event next week, right? Aren't we? We have a holiday party coming up? Yes?
Mhm.
Yeah? You guys are going?
Yes.
You think there's gonna be agents, vendors, people from out of our office that's gonna be present? Yeah? You're gonna bring your business cards? You're gonna build some relationships with vendors?
Yeah, vendors also like, if we can establish relationship with other agents, also it'd be better because in the future, if we have any things to, exchange, buy or sell, it creates the like moment.
Correct.
Right?
So let's talk this networking event, right? How do you build a campaign around this?
You create a profile on Eventbrite, and then you host the event, or you co-host the event.
Well, we already have the event, right? So let's
Oh, yeah.
talk about the holiday part. Okay, let's say you don't do what you normally do. You don't just sit with the people you know. You don't just talk with the people you know, right? Let's think of the holiday party and we're out there and we're building relationships and we're meeting people and you're exchanging information, right? What do you do after?
You send an email, send it, tell them, oh, it was a great to talking to you, just have my business card or have my information in anything, and then let's work together.
Let's trade referrals. Ask for the order, right? Has attorneys ever given you guys business?
Yes.
Yes.
Attorney and lenders.
Lenders have given us business too, guys.
Yeah.
So why not use that? And that's only if you were to just do event-based, we're talking event-based versus campaign-based now, right? How many of you guys go to events, you grab business cards, and then when you get home, it goes into your garbage can? Don't lie.
I do a lot.
You see? Right? You're like, oh, that was fun. They'll call me if they need me, right?
Do you will talk about campaign on the chemical?
You could do anything, a CRM, keeping in contact, right? I'm talking campaign-based to build your name so that you're not just going to an event thinking events don't work, networking doesn't work. Or you do door knocking and you don't get a listing that day, you say door knocking doesn't work. The purpose of door knocking is building relationships. The purpose of networking events is to build relationships, right?
Yeah.
So I need you guys to think of yourself as building relationships. I don't know who's gonna be giving me referrals. I don't know which attorney, I don't know which lender, I don't know which other outside source is gonna be giving me business. Right? But you meet these people, they were worth meeting, right? Maybe you had a good conversation with them. I've met people where they've given me listing leads and I've given them listing leads. Yeah. So you should be creating a campaign behind every single relationship that you build, right? And I know it's tedious work, right? You're thinking, oh, that's so like, I have to organize myself, I have to put it in a CRM, I have to create touch points, I have to keep in contact with all these people. But I'm going to continue to say this. Think of yourself 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Where is your business going to come from? Okay, I'm telling you now, it's easier to sign a listing from someone who is already sold on you as a commodity, you as the brand, than you go hunting because nobody knows your name and you're invisible, right? It takes time.
How you follow up the campaign?
I'm sorry?
It's once you build a campaign, how you follow up?
We did a
Like a
training.
Monday?
Yeah, you should, I'm gonna go into this later, but your phone call touches, right? You guys could determine how you want to frequently touch a person you door knock, right? There's rules to it. So let's say Ram goes door knocking and he meets an owner that says, you know what, Ram, I'm not looking to move anytime soon, but I do plan to retire in 12 months, right? And we're thinking maybe we downsize, right? Great. I'm gonna make sure you're the most educated seller when the time comes. So I'm gonna give you market updates, right? So you don't just say, okay, I'm gonna call you in 12 months. What's gonna happen in 12 months?
Another agency.
You're gonna freaking lose the listing. They're gonna, right? So you have to create a campaign where, and it depends on the circumstance, right? So let's say you put that seller in, maybe you reach out. Hey, this is Ram. I met you at the doors just yesterday. I want to make sure that I keep my word and you will be the most educated seller in the area once the time comes, right? The market right now is a little soft. It's more of a buyer's market. The absorption rate is blah, blah, blah. I'm gonna let you know every time there's a new listing that's comparable to yours, so you could see how the prices are going. I'll also let you know when properties close so that we know realistically what buyers are willing to pay. Would something like that be useful for you? Yes. Every couple months, you touch base. Anytime there's a new listing, anytime there's a new under contract, anytime there's a new sold, his goal is to make sure that he is the person they call when the time comes for them to list, right? And your campaign can be consistent like that, or if it's just a vendor, let's say an attorney, right? And you're building that relationship, and let's pretend it's an estate attorney. Do estate attorneys have people who pass and need to sell and need an agent to refer?
Yeah.
They do. I've gotten listings from estate attorneys. Right? So you could reach out to them and make sure that you also give them referrals. Just 2 days ago, there was a buyer that said, I'm not sure if I want to buy this property under an LLC or put it under a trust. And I don't know the steps to proceed with that. I said, I've done that. I have properties that I have under an LLC and I have my properties under a trust. I'm going to give you my attorney who I've used and I trust, and you could give him a call. Then I call the attorney. I let him know that I sent the referral, right? And that's how you build your relationships. You keep in contact with the people that you trade referrals with, and you make sure that they know that that referral is also coming from you. I think it's tacky, to be honest, to ask for a referral fee. And I know agents that do it. I think that's stupid. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah.
Then
They get kickbacks, they do illegal stuff. Like there's vendors that have asked me, like, I'm gonna give you, this person's looking to sell, can you give me a referral fee? No, I can't, you're not licensed, But yet I've given them like 20 different like people to work with, and I'm like, that rubbed me the wrong way. I don't want to refer him anymore, right? I believe in building relationships to trade referrals so that everyone's business increases. That's my belief. So it's up to you.
As once you ask people for referral, they will start referring.
Yeah, that's so, I don't know. I think it's petty. I believe building relationships and being everyone's each other's advocate.
I have lender asking me, they ask me for business, they will give me some money. I said, no, I won't do it.
Well, there are other legal ways where they could sponsor an event, right? They could
I tell them, if I refer your business, you refer me the seller or buyer, so I think that's working, but not with money.
yeah.
Yeah, that sounds so good.
So what the purpose of this training is, I want you guys to shift your thinking from event-based to campaign-based. How do I consistently build campaigns around every single relationship that I've created, every single relationship with people that I've met, right? I don't want to hear open houses don't work. I don't want to hear door knocking doesn't work. I'm gonna tell you guys, no one is gonna ever say to you when you knock on a door, come on in, Ram, I want you to list my house today. That's not gonna happen. Okay? And then majority of the times at open houses, right? Most open houses, do you sell the property at the open house?
Most time,
Not, depending on the property, right?
yeah.
But what is another purpose of an open house?
Oh, you mean sell by self or you mean the agent? You either was.
Let's just say you're a brand new agent asking for an open house to do,
The lead.
right? And you're thinking event-based. Agents that think event-based are thinking, I want to sell that property during the open house. And if I don't sell the property during the open house, open houses do not work. What are the purpose of open houses? If you Google, do open houses sell homes? 1% of properties sell through open houses. Not a lot.
Really?
Yeah.
Just 1%.
That stat might have changed, but what is the purpose of open houses?
Getting the leads.
Not to market
Qualified.
yourself, like to show different owners how you're gonna do the open house.
Yeah. So can we think about a campaign-based open house? What are some of the things that you can do in terms of building a campaign around the event of an open house?
You get to gather information and say, oh, this house or property doesn't work for you, they help you find what you're looking for. And that
Correct.
would be a good lead.
Yeah. Right, building that relationship, meeting the people. Erin's great at doing open houses. You know, I love the detailed feedback that she gets. Erin,
Alright, okay.
right? I love the feedback that I get. Right? But the purpose of her doing my open houses, I want her to nurture her leads. She just wrote nurture leads, right? But let's say she wants to build and start building a campaign around all these leads that she's getting on listings that are not hers, right? How would you go about doing that? Instead of Erin saying, Lily, these open houses don't work, which I have heard many, many times, right? These open houses don't work. What can she do with all these leads that she's getting?
Call them, follow up, right?
Yeah.
You can handle that with their own clients.
You guys could list buyers now, can't you? I mean, you've always can, but now they've made it more mandatory, right?
I think also very helpful when you meet the agent in the open house, build a relationship. Because you always will cross the listing or buyer with them one day. And
Yeah.
it makes the negotiation much easier.
Correct. Yeah. But I want Erin or whoever does open houses to take it a step further, right? Could she have door knocked or made phone calls, canvassing prior to an open house too?
Yes.
Yeah. And whatever lead she gets from that is hers, right? And now it's her responsibility to build a relationship with all the people that she has spoken to and all the people that she has met from door knocking, open house canvassing, meeting at the open house, following up afterwards, and then prospecting. And you could actually use these buyer leads. Let's say she finds a buyer during an open house, right? But there's no properties on the market that fits what her buyers are looking for. Is she able to do cold calling around properties also to try to find listings? There's like so many different campaigns that you guys can do, right? To actually get additional business from just that one open house.
And a lot of times neighbors in that area will want to sell as
Yeah.
well, just
Yeah.
because maybe some.
Guys, I used to get so aggravated with neighbors coming into an open house from like the building because they have like their grocery bags, right? In my mind, they're like, I'm thinking they're wasting my time. Until I went to a training and it shifted, I'm like, they're potential future sellers.
The nosy neighbors.
Yeah, they're potential future sellers. I need to build that relationship. And I've had situations where they're like, you don't know me, but I met you in an open house 2 years ago. And I was impressed with how you conducted yourself, right? Have you guys been to an open house and the agent's just sitting there and they're like, sign in. Let me know if you have any questions.
Yeah, they don't understand how that is.
And then they go back to the office and they're like, open houses don't work.
They don't know each, they are met a couple agents doing that.
Are you guys seeing what I'm talking about, like between event-based and campaign-based now? I think that is the biggest problem that agents have. Guys, building your brand, building your name, building yourself as the commodity, it's boring. It's repetitive, consistent, boring work with a lot of follow-up. But I promise you, once you get to a point where they're calling you, instead of you chasing the business, you're attracting the business. That's when you no longer have to worry, am I gonna make it next year?
Yeah.
Okay, think about the average agent. I think the average agent, what, closes four properties a year, 5 properties a year? How do you survive? And then you have agents closing 50 properties a year, 100 properties a year, 300 properties a year, right? And you're like, how do they do it? They spend time building their name and building their brand. Okay, so when I realized, like, I don't want to chase business anymore, I want to build my brand and I want my phones to ring, right? How do I do that? How do I build my name to get to that point? Right? So next week, we're going to talk about Google and online presence, but we're not going to talk about that today. Let's talk about everything else. Because online is huge, right? You have to be searchable. If Google doesn't know you exist, do you think people are going to know you exist? No, right? If Google doesn't know you exist, you don't exist to people. Okay? So branding isn't loud, it's repetition. It's repetition and repeatedly being in front of people. How many of you guys have sent out mailers before?
And it was.
I'm still sending.
Campaign base. I'm still sending, she says. Consistency wins. I've been on listing appointments where I walk in and they're like, I've saved your mailer from 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 6 years ago. And it's like exit realty before we even change to EXP, right? But it's the consistency, that the repetition, they constantly see my name, they constantly see my face, my information. And it's like, I remember her, right? And then I've had people have one listing. They send out a mailer, they spend, let's say, $1,000 on the mailer, and they didn't get any phone calls. And then they say mailers do not work. Right? Do mailers work?
Well,
They work. If she says she's an icon agent, right? Sue's an icon agent. I'm an icon agent. We will not be paying money consistently if mailers did not work. But again, it's repetition, right? And it's about doing it the smart way, right? So in terms of repetition, and I want them to constantly see my name, I built a campaign where I'm going to send mailers to just that building, just listed, pending, sold, right? And then at the end of the year, I want a big one, right? I want everything else that we've sold. if you don't have things to sell, to post or to mail out, you could still mail out things that you sold 6 months ago. Nobody knows.
I feel like what was West Canada,
Yeah,
they have a campaign, if you set up, they have QR code, you scan to, I think
Yeah.
that one, to get a valuation on your
Yeah.
market price.
yeah.
That one's good too.
What we did a training on this. What Sue is talking about is, and we use Wise Pelican too. Michelle, one of my top agents on the team, uses Wise Pelican as well. There is a QR code on the mailers that if the person scans the QR code, it tells you who scanned it.
They have email phone number.
They will give you the contact information of the person who scanned it.
That is so cool. I tried that 3 months ago because I usually just mail the other one. And then the West Pelican, why don't you do that? I said, okay, how much? I pay 1,500 per month.
Mhm.
And constantly I get a scan. I put them in campaign.
You see that?
But where the scan goes to?
This go to the house, property of the house. Whoever scan, the property owner scan. It's once you have lease, it's go to straight to the house.
When you send out 500 mailers, it's 500 different QR codes. The person who scans the QR code is the property owner of that mailer, and you get that person's information.
Yeah, either you get an email, phone number, or you get a both. Sometimes they only put an email.
What I'm telling you guys, however, more event-based stuff,
That's
right?
may not-
Meaning one mailer and then claim that it doesn't work. Your consistency is what will make the difference.
Yeah, it's important that once you're done, I have a follow up with monthly email. Update, market update.
Because the way I set up the mailer to Wise Pelican, it scans to my webpage.
And then what happens when they go to your webpage?
I get the information.
You get their information.
Yeah.
The person who. Yeah. Same thing, you capture, the whole idea is to capture information, right? That is where the money is, the information. Share the info, please. Share what info?
The white color. Wise Pelican.
Don't text and drive. I see you driving. You could tell us later. You talking about Wise Pelican?
Wise, just.
The QR code that she was talking about.
We can't hear you. Sorry. There's something wrong with the system. So just text later. Okay. All right. So I want you guys first to define your brand. Right? Well, as brand new agents, you grab what you can grab. Right? But in order to actually build your brand, you do need to determine where your market area or where you want your market area to be. From the beginning, I knew I wanted to be Forest Hills, Regal Park, Kew Gardens. I knew that's what I wanted to do, right? Ram, I don't know where your market is. I'm thinking Queens Village and like some of the other areas, or just all over.
Oh, yes, Richmond Hill, South Richmond Hill.
But do you see yourself shifting more to a certain type of buyer or a certain neighborhood?
Yeah, I'm also businesses in the Ocean Park, South Ocean Park, and Middle Place.
Okay, so what I want you to do, knowing and seeing this now, right? Because your business did increase in the last year, correct? Is that now you have to heavily target that area and make sure that your name repeatedly is being shown up over there, right? So you determine where you want, and this matters for next week's training in terms of online presence and things like that, okay? But first determine what is your brand, what do you want to be known for, right? When people think of me, what do you think? Okay, what do I do? What is my brand? I'm a listing agent, right? But where am I predominantly focused?
Forest Hills.
Yeah,
Queen of Forest Hill, literally.
Queen of Forest Hills. But where am I heavily marketed? Like, where is a lot of my business?
Co-ops.
Co-ops. I have outside agents and board members and other people calling me, right? And they're like, what's the DTI for this? What's the requirements for, even Vincent, like, hey, you have the board application for this. Hey, you have the offering plan for this. Hey, you have the financials for this. What's the sublet policy here? Right? What's the flip tax here? I somehow have become the co-op expert, right? And I ran with it. And that became my brand, right? Of course, I take house listings and I do all that too. But you need to focus on what is your brand, where is your market area, and go heavy in campaigning there and build like an architect from there, right? If I did a little here, a little there, a little here, I'm not, it's too much. It like you can't build a consistent brand if you're so spread out, okay? So the problem, and think of yourself, like, what is the problem that you mainly serve, right? I know like with Juan and Maria's team, they have a lot of buyers that, you know, they emphasize on grants, right? Juan, I don't know if, and you have lenders that also push on a lot of creative like financing with people with maybe lower down payment. You can't talk, Juan, sorry, I can't hear you. You're gonna have to type.
No, I'm
So
here.
you unmute
Can
yourself.
you hear me? Can you hear me?
Right? So if let's say that is you, right? And that is
She
gonna be
can hear
your
you.
market, and that's where you're gonna run to build
think
your name,
something's wrong with the mic.
activity,
Oh, the
then
mic's
let
not
that
working?
be your brand or your expertise. Right? And then from the very beginning, I wanted to be more, what is your thing, right? There are some agents that are like, I'm gonna be, no matter what, I'm gonna be honest, right? I'm gonna guide my clients, even if it's the best thing for them, but it doesn't make me money, I'm still gonna guide them the right way, right? But at the same time, I am not gonna be a discount agent. I said that to myself. And if you're like, okay, my thing is, I'm gonna be a discount agent until I build my name. Right?
What is a discount?
Someone who takes lower commission. What is a discount? Right? So prior to the NAR settlement, if you guys were on MLS, you would see that most of my payout compensation on average was like 2.5%, which was like not normal, right? In Queens. But I said, I'm not going to be a discount agent, right? So you decide. We are mute on your end, Lily. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes.
I can't hear. Yeah, it's muted on my end, so you guys have to type in order for me to see. Okay. But think of yourself now, and I wanted to be known as the agent that will tell you the truth no matter what. Right? So my go-to phrase whenever I'm on listing appointments or when I'm with a buyer, if you were my family, if you were my parents, this is what I would advise them to do. Right? If it was my money on the line, this is what I would do. So I became that agent that like, no matter what, I'm gonna tell you the truth.
That's
Okay.
a great quality of people to trust you.
Yeah.
And know that it doesn't matter if you make money or not, you're just telling them the best advice.
This is a people business, right? So then my slogan ended up being building relationships one home at a time. Right? And you would see it on my mailers, you would see it, you know, on my Zillow profile, you would see it wherever I sent something else. My slogan was building relationships one home at a time. Right? So think of what are you gonna be known for? Okay, are you gonna be the luxury agent? Are you gonna be the agent that helps families buy a home with,
Travis?
3.5% down? Like, what is gonna be your thing and what is gonna be your neighborhood? And then go heavy on it. Okay,
I'm focused on investment.
investments.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I
Maybe
noticed.
multifamily.
Yeah, I noticed that a lot of your recent listings, you get multifamily, new builds, and you get like investors, right? And then they end up referring you,
Yeah.
right, to their friends and family and things like that.
After
So
they sold, they're fully renovated, I have to help them rent it out.
Yeah, so she's a one-stop shop, right? So they knew that if they bought the house, she told them, after you renovate, do you refer them vendors to renovate too?
Yeah,
See? They want someone that can help them from beginning to end.
then I have a few Spanish agent helping me rent.
Yeah. Okay, you didn't need to say the Spanish part, but okay.
Because I'm not anybody doing that, a lot of people don't like to do it and they're horrible with it, but they're really good
Yeah,
with it.
yeah. So that's their niche, right?
Yeah,
That's
they
what
do
they're
with
good at it.
rental. Like so fast, I can rent it 2 3 weeks, it's done.
But that became her brand, and that's what her clients remember her as, right?
Yeah.
Like, if I want an investment property with little headache and someone to take care of it from beginning to end, I'm gonna call Sue. Right? So what is your thing? Define your brand, define your core. And then you're gonna offer insight, right? So when these investors come, do you give them insight? Like, this property, the cap rate is this amount, this is how much you could rent it for. To renovate a house like this, it's gonna cost about 200,000. Do you give them like
Yeah.
Insight,
detail, yeah.
every single detail?
Yeah.
Every single detail. Right? So she has built that trust amongst her clientele and her brand. That's what she's known for now. Did you choose to do that from the very beginning? It just
No.
became that way.
Like a lot of time when they do renovation, something going on, I have to go check it for them. They have to call me, come and say, well, something going on, I don't know what's going on. I
Yeah.
have to guide them.
Yeah. But that became your thing, right? That became, she was the person, the go-to person to help them. If you are a great problem solver, because that's what we are, right? You're gonna build your brand.
Yeah, all my investors, they buy a house every year or every other year. That's a good thing.
Okay, I want you guys to think of your own campaign. What are you gonna do consistently to build your brand? Not give your clients your CRM updates once every year. Touch them every couple of weeks, every couple of months, so that you're top of mind. Okay, now when you call them, and I've said this before, when you call them, I hate it when I call a client and I'm like, hey, how are you doing? How are the kids? And then you end it with, by the way, are you thinking of selling? Has that just discredited your entire conversation with them? Because now in their minds, they're like, oh, that's why she called me. She doesn't really care about my family, how we're doing. The main purpose of her call was actually for business, right? And then it ends up feeling a bit icky, doesn't it? Yeah. And I think that's the reason why people don't call, because they feel like, oh, I don't want to.
Like your phone call.
Yeah, like I don't want to feel like I'm asking for business. I want to maintain this relationship, but I don't want to seem salesy. So then what ends up happening? You just don't call.
So what do you do?
And then you're like, oh, why did they list with that other agent? Right? You get that out of the way from the very beginning. Hi, Sue, this is Lily. You know, I just want to let you know this is a sales call, right? And just get straight to it. Or this is a business call. Hey, Sue, this is Lily, you know, this is a business call. I have a buyer, they're really looking to move into this area and there's no inventory. Do you know of anyone who might be interested in selling anytime now or in the near future? No, but you know what, my neighbor, I heard them mentioning that they're gonna be retiring soon, you know? Get that out of the way and then just say, okay, so, you know, how are the boys? Oh my goodness, are they in high school now? You know, get the business part first and then talk about the family. Don't talk about the family and then just say, hey, you know, it just feels like your call wasn't really asking about them. So just be straightforward. Hey, Sue, this is a business call. I'm working with this family. There's no inventory, you know, so I figured I'd call around. Does that feel icky? It doesn't feel as icky, right? Yeah.
What if following up with a lead and you just wanna know more about them? Should I just, the opening line should be, hey, can you tell me more about yourself? Or
Is,
like,
it depends on how that lead came about, right? So give me an example of how a lead came about.
Just
Open house?
expired.
So it's a prospecting call, an expired prospecting call. Okay, so that's a different than like a lead, like a whole list, right? I mean, they're gonna get a lot of phone calls, right? So you could try different tactics. I hate scripts because I feel like people forget what they're gonna wanna say, right? So you gotta figure out what will work for you. I've tried different things where I'll call the expired. But like, you know, I noticed, and I'm sure you're getting a lot of phone calls. I'm sure you're aware that your property expired off the market. You know, did your agent explain to you why it may not have sold? Right? And they may say the market's slow. Okay, yeah, I could understand that, but you know, we are still putting properties under contract. Right? Have you gotten any offers? So your job is to keep the conversation going. I notice that the longer I keep someone on the phone, their guard comes down, right? An immediate human response is no, no, thank you. I don't need help. Right? Think about it. You go into a store, you need to buy something. Somebody asks you if you need help. What's your immediate response?
No,
No, thank you. But yet you actually needed something, right? Same thing with prospecting, same thing with calls, until they realize that you might be able to help them. When I used to call expired, I would look through the list and I would also see if there's any properties that might fit some of my buyers. Right? But maybe it was priced too high. Or maybe there was an incorrect information on the listing. And I would point that out. So I might say, you know, I just noticed your home expired off the market and, you know, the reason why I didn't show it to my buyer was that they marked that it was not pet friendly, but your building in fact is. And it kind of captures them like a little bit off guard, right? Like what? So I used to try to be a little bit more strategic in trying to find out why a listing expired. And then use that approach. But the longer you keep someone on the phone, their guard comes down. But if you sound robotic, like all the other expired agents, oh, I have a buyer for your property. I have a buyer for your property, right? That's what they're all saying. And then my owners would tell me. Because I like to let my listings expire and then relist it as a brand new listing so that the days on the market, you know, resets. So they'll tell me what these agents say. And I'll be like, if they really had a buyer, they would schedule a showing because it's already relisted on the MLS.
No, if they would bring the buyer when it was listed.
Yeah.
Why didn't?
Yeah. I would say they didn't bring a buyer. They've never called us on the property. I'm very flexible with showings. I don't know why they're telling you they have a buyer.
I lost the listing with that.
What do you mean?
The seller calling me, he wants to list the house for almost 2.2 million, right? And then she first asked me, do you have a buyer? I said, I do have a buyer, but I don't have direct same and exactly buyer for your house now, but I have to take a look at the house, right? And so I tell him that way, so when I can schedule, I said, can I go Wednesday, tomorrow, or Wednesday? And then other agent called her, I have buyer, then after, he said, oh, my husband's not home, so I said, okay, let me know, so I can stop by. Then after 2 weeks, she listed with someone else. I said, why you listed? I called back, asked her, why you listed with other agent? You know, the agent tell me they have buyer. I said, did they bring the buyer to make an offer? If they don't, I said, that means they don't have buyer.
That's why I think it's a mistake when.
You
they ask
waited
you,
2 weeks.
Do you have a buyer? And you said, yes, I do.
Yeah,
Yes, they are
I
working
shouldn't
with a lot
explain
of
too much, this is
buyers.
buyers.
You also waited 2 weeks, right? Did you follow up
I
between
did
the
follow
two?
up between time.
Okay.
Yeah, but I also know that they are overleased the price over 200,000. They're not gonna sell. I'm waiting for them to expire.
So it's still listed.
They still listed. I called them after list. I said, why you list with them? How long you signed a list with them?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of agents take overpriced listings.
250,000. That's crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I mean, there's a lot of things which you could have done in between.
when you go meet them and try to take the listing, just say, I like to base my advice to my clients on evidence, not emotion. Right? If they're telling you that it's worth 250,000 more than what the market truly is dictated, you gotta tell them to show you evidence. Or are they just trying to lock you into a contract
Show comparable.
and then come back 2 weeks, a month later to try to have you knock the price down?
I saw her, his relative, the house. And he kept telling me his house better than his relative. And unfortunately not, it's much worse. And that one, I saw the 1.8, right?
Yeah, I mean, sellers are gonna be unrealistic, so you just have to be honest with them. A lot of times taking
Oh,
listings that are
listen.
overpriced is more headache than it's worth.
Now you tell me, remind me, I have to aspire, they listed as 3 family, the legal is 2 family. They still on the market 3 family.
Don't
So,
tell them that it is. a
That's the
mistake.
thing, you tell them the mistake when you go canvassing for the property, right? You show them the mistakes afterwards.
I didn't tell them that's what the legal 2 family yet.
I had a seller, she was complaining that that agents she listed with. They don't have any activity, and when they run open houses, there's nobody coming. And I checked the listing, she listed not as Forest Hills, she listed as a Flushing.
You see,
So-
these things, I love for expireds to point out the mistakes. I think that is more effective than saying, I have a buyer. Okay, they have heard that a million times. You need to figure out the real problem, why the property didn't sell. And to be honest with you, it's probably the price, but you're using other potential errors on the listing to get your foot in the door. Okay,
But also,
So-
if you tell them you have a buyer and it's a lie, you lie to the client, and then that will stop them from recommending you.
yeah.
to others.
Or just they'll say, if you have a buyer, bring them by. I'm not gonna sign any, I'm not gonna sign any listings, right? So let's talk again about event-based versus campaign-based. I want you guys, when you're building these campaigns, right? I don't want you to get in contact with these relationships, these clients or potential clients of yours, just for the sake of getting in touch with them. You need to have meaningful conversations. You have to have useful information. You have to have useful statistics, right? So anytime there's like change in the industry, right? You reach out to them. You know what I also did, or what I also do? You do rentals, right? But your source of rental is not your main business. She does rentals, but we do rentals as a way to maintain the relationship, don't we?
Yeah,
Yeah, because we don't care about rentals.
I hate the rent.
I hate rentals too. But we do rentals to maintain the relationship. And what I do is that I put in my CRM or in my calendar when the lease is about to terminate. Right? And prior to the lease terminating, 2 to 3 months prior, you should be reaching out to them to see if they need a lease renewal or if they might potentially be interested in selling. Right? Useful information or useful things that you can do for someone is what's going to maintain the relationship. Not just reaching out to them because you want to reach out to them. Okay, so for them, they're like, oh, wow, yeah, I do need a lease renewal, right? There was another past client that needed me to do for an estate, like a BPO, a broker price opinion, to like backdate it to when, a family member passed away. And he said, how much do I owe you? Even with like lease renewals, I'm like, no, there's no charge for that. That's just added, business or service that we provide. But if you know of anyone looking to move, or sell, let me know. And he wrote the best reviews online for me, right? He was an attorney. That is worth more than trying to get paid for like another lease renewal that you're gonna do for someone. Right? So I want you to think of meaningful conversations, not just conversations that serve you. Okay? Build campaigns on relationship building that serves them. Do you guys understand? No more one hit wonders, like one event and that doesn't work. Yeah.
No, I was, every lease expire, I give them a notice, are you going to increase 3% with your attendance or I just check how's your attendance? If it's really good, I would like suggest you wanna increase 3% or you wanna remain the same rents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any meaningful conversations, like even if you tell them, I noticed that you rented to these tenants, for 1,500 and the market really has shifted. I think you can ask for a little bit more now. And what I see happening with many landlords are they're increasing it at about 3%. Right?
Yeah.
So you're educating them or you're giving them, and you could do email blasts too, right? Like the whole idea is to create this campaign base where it's consistent and it's something that'll always be in front of the person's face. If they're worth doing business once, are they worth doing business again over and over again?
Much easier.
Much easier.
Yeah, they don't ask a question.
You no longer have to sell them. They're already sold on you. Right? Okay. I want you guys for the next 23 days moving into the new year. I want you guys thinking about building your brand, building your name. Okay? And I want you to do it consistently. I don't want you to think one time and say it doesn't work. Okay? Think of maybe 5 value contents that you could share with potential clients or that you could post, right? I'm so sick of those ridiculous, like some real estate agents post things that, makes no sense. Or their posts are so negative. I've seen like a lot of agents post like controversial stuff or like negative things that affected them and nobody wants to be around negativity. Okay? If you're gonna post, and of course you could post personal stuff, but make sure that it's more upbeat, happy, like there's no reason to post things that don't bring positivity into you or your life, okay? I want you to do 5 nurture touches, meaning if you've dealt with the person and you know that they're a potential sale in 2026, right? And they were just, you know, getting their foot wet and you know that they need to make a move in 2026, put them on a nurture campaign. Make sure that you're not forgetting to reach out to them. And then give yourself a task to meet or have conversations with 5 new people. What your goal is, just have new conversations. You have to have new conversations. That's how you build your clientele. Okay? This is a people business. If you're afraid to talk to people, you're in the wrong business. You're gonna have to learn how to have conversations. And then here are some non-negotiables. You need to have a database. I don't know why some agents are still not using a database, right? Some teams are paying for databases, but you guys have Bold Trail and you also have what's that other one? Not KB Core. Lofty, right?
And is anybody using that? I never checked it.
I think we are liking Bold Trail more. I don't know. I'm having Cindy test them out.
I'm sick of changing back and forth.
I know.
Headache.
But honestly, just use one, right? And it's a non-negotiable because I've tried to I used to hate CRMs, right? And I would put everything in like an Excel, Google Drive thing. And then eventually it got so big where I'm like, all right, this is getting messy, right? Then I started trying to color code them, like separate them, like, you know, red means they're sold already, yellow is like they're pending, and green, they're active or whatever, you know, it was just chaos. And it just didn't work for me, right? But EXP gives you guys these CRMs, you really should be using, and there's training on them. There's training on them that you should take. Okay, so that should be a non-negotiable. I did a social video. I did a video that my admin put onto YouTube and it's on my IG page and it's also on some other, like maybe my Google business page of the neighborhood that I wanted to dominate, right? So I have a video of myself talking about Forest Hills. So Ren, if your neighborhood is Ozone Park, Elmhurst, Middle Village, why not do a video piece on the neighborhood? Just on the neighborhood. Like I have a, if you go onto my IG or if you go onto I think my Google business page, you will see like me, go on my IG. There's 2 thumbnail posts of me talking about Forest Hills, right? And if you need a videographer, you saw it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you guys, and you could embed it with like words that Google could like pull up, okay? And we're going to talk about this next week. But the first step is creating that neighborhood video, right? About yourself, about the neighborhood that you want to serve. So think about that, right? Create something. Don't be afraid of, and for those of you who are like, oh, I'm so scared, I don't know what to say. You could use, I memorized what I was saying, and then a lot of it was just voiceover, right? So you could just memorize 3 sentences in front of the camera and everything else could be a voiceover.
What did you really send it?
No, it was this other guy. I have his info. I have his info if you want it.
Yeah, I want to do a story. I want to really take
Yeah,
it.
do it. I know a lot of you guys are like, oh, I want to do it. And then you guys push it aside and you never do it. Make a commitment and just do it and get it out there so that you're at least searchable. Okay. I want you guys to do one educational and a local post. Like I used to I do a bunch of stuff where I donate to the food pantry. Yesterday, Michelle went to her daughter's school and did a career day. And she gave. They're gonna bring it home, right? So, I mean, think about these networking events that you could potentially get your name out there. And, she didn't want to do it. She hates speaking in front of people, even though they were like 5-year-old kids. Like she did not like that, but she did it. You gotta get uncomfortable.
I have a group investor wanting me to host the event. I don't know what to say.
Just say yes. Just say yes. Just say yes and you'll figure it out. Say yes. Did you say yes?
I didn't.
See?
The kids have been asking me for like a half a year already. If
Just
they would
do
try.
it. Just do it.
Okay, you come with me.
I'll come and watch you. I'll come and watch you. You want me to build my name with your people?
I don't
Huh?
mind.
And then I want you guys to do some door knocking or some calls. And if you're petrified of doing that, try to do something less intimidating. I just want you to get into the motion of doing it. Okay? And it could be knocking on the door and just inviting them to an open house. Okay? And if you get a little scared, then you could not go past the invitation part. But as you get more comfortable, I want you guys to work in. So how long have you lived here? Do you know anyone who might be interested in moving into this neighborhood? If you were to move, where would you move to? And when do you think that'll be? Right? So no problem, Chris. So I want you guys to think of different campaigns, right? The whole purpose of this training is to shift your mind from event-based activity, just one here, one there, one this. I want you to shift your mind in moving into 2026, build campaigns to build your name, to build relationships. And that is when you will see the snowball effect 5 years from now, 10 years from now, where people are going to be chasing you instead of you chasing people. Okay, but you got to start somewhere. And we're going to talk about online next week. Okay, I want you to track what works and what doesn't work for you. I know it's tedious, I know it sucks, but if you are making phone calls and it's not working, then it's probably something you're saying, right? If you are meeting people at the door, but you're not getting, the follow-up relationships, then maybe it's your follow-up. You got to figure out where you're going wrong.
Okay. Conversation.
Yeah.
That is amazing. My key.
Conversations.
Yeah, how to talk. That's take a long time to build. I still follow with that.
With follow-up.
The follow-up or just call people.
Yeah, you gotta do it. You gotta do it.
Follow-up, I think with the headline on the good with stranger new people is better.
Give me an example.
Even like inspired calling
Uh-huh.
after the 2 sentences, I don't know what to say.
After 2 sentences?
The old ones like yeah.
That's what, then you have to be in coaching.
Yeah, you
They
could
will
do
teach you.
coaching, or you just have to do it more to realize where you're getting stuck. Like there was so many times where I'm like, oh, that sounded horrible. How do I change that? Right? Oh, that didn't go well. You're gonna get people hanging up on you. Right?
I hate
But that is, I know.
But I want to challenge you that, so I'm gonna put that in this year goal.
That is the thing. You gotta move past the uncomfortable. That's where you grow.
I think it's always uncomfortable.
It's always
I tried to do
uncomfortable when
the
you're growing.
calling and it was ringing and ringing. I was like, oh my God, I hope nobody answered. But yeah. And then I got somebody answer and she said, no, I'm not selling. I don't know who told you that I'm selling. But I'm like, the number is here. But I got into a nice conversation. I got information. I'm like, okay.
See?
But after like so many.
Yeah, you just have to stay calm and like maintain that conversation. I promise you, the longer you keep someone on the phone, the sweeter they become. That's my experience, right? In the very beginning, it's like, no, like no, immediately, like, no, not interested. Okay, not a problem. everything, not a problem. I just noticed that there was a little mistake on the previous listing that your agent had. And I thought you should know.
So before you call, so you will check out the spider listing first.
Sometimes, yeah, that's what I used to do, and I would find a mistake so I could have a detailed conversation with them. Right? Like, did your agent tell you why your property didn't sell? Did you have offers? Right? I would ask, did you have offers? Did you counter the offers? And sometimes they're like, no, we decided we're not gonna sell, we're gonna stay. Not a problem. If you were to move, if you did sell and you were to move, where would you go? And just keep that conversation going instead of, okay, bye. Okay, talk to you later. So I always try to keep the conversation. Sorry, there's an agent that doesn't know how to use stuff. 1 second. Sorry, okay. All right, let me see. Okay, so do a neighborhood spotlight video, right? Weekly market report emails. I want you guys to learn how to do CMAs. Right? You have to learn how to determine market value. There are so many different trainings and play around with it, right? How do you compare properties? I have a listing appointment today, later this afternoon. The owner is or used to be an appraiser. So it's gonna be, they know what they're doing, right? So I'm
Did
thinking.
you ask him on his approximate value before?
No, I did ask her what she thinks her property is worth, but she's like, I want your opinion.
She tell you she's a appraiser.
Yeah.
I once went to a listing with a judge house. I
Judge?
didn't judge, yeah, criminal judge. I didn't know he's a judge. After everything done, he tell me the end. I said, I'm glad you tell me the end. If you tell me beginning, I'm afraid to talking to you.
Like, why are you a criminal? I do want you guys to get comfortable with doing CMAs, and you should really know your market. Like, I have a listing appointment later today, like I said, right? And I went to RPR just to see now where's the market shifted? What's the absorption rate? What is it? It has that chart that tells you if it's a seller's market, buyer's market, what's the median days on the market. And you should know all of this so that when you're in front of the client, you're not like, so the days on the market is, it's more of a conversation now that, it is a very, it's a quieter market where the buyers have an upper hand. The absorption rate is about 13.4%. And we see here that it's going to take you approximately 100, on average, 113 days before we can find a buyer. And that doesn't take into consideration another 3 months in order for us to close if financing is involved, right? So you got to get used to getting these market stats so that when you're having conversations with clients, that you don't sound like, so the absorption rate is, and you're more articulate, you're more educational, you're more of an authority, right? Instead of not being so sure. Okay, so take the time to run CMAs, to run market stats, and then touch the people that you've put into your CRM. Okay. Don't worry about your silly logo. People waste so much time, like, let me make my logo, and then nobody cares. Okay, how to build a year-long campaign. I would break, if I was brand new, right? I wouldn't look at 2026 like, what am I going to do in 2026? I'm going to break things into quarters, what I'm going to do. And that's kind of what I did with my campaigns with mailers. When I first started getting into mailing, I did every door direct mailers, and it was every quarter my assistant and I would carry bags, like 5,000 mailers to the post office. This was before Wise Pelican and all of that. That's how long I've been doing mailers. And we would carry 5,000 mailers and we had to bind them like in rubber bands. And then it was by, do you remember? And it was by,
My whole family was like, count.
do you see? I'm not lying, guys. I do it. So if we would bind them and you would pick routes that like a mailman would, deliver these mailers to, right? But the whole point of what I'm saying is that it was campaign based. It was every quarter without fail, I am going to do this no matter what. I didn't say, oh, I didn't do so well the first quarter, so I don't want to spend the money second quarter. I didn't do that, right? It was, this is my campaign and this is what I'm going to constantly do no matter what, right? And then you break it into, how many campaigns are you going to do every quarter, right? 5,000 mailers for me was a good amount of money. It was a lot of money to mail out 5,000. So I did that once every quarter at that time. Now I'm doing it per listing. With Wise Pelican, it's more targeted because with Every Door Direct, I was also sending it to rental buildings. I was sending it to my target was sellers, right? So I was doing trial and error and things like that. Then I want you guys to think 3 campaigns per quarter. What campaigns are you gonna do? And I'm not talking about just mailers. I'm talking door knocking. I'm talking email consistently to your database, making phone calls to touch your relationships, to touch those people as well. Hold on. Give me 1 second, sorry. Hold on, can I call this guy? Sorry. He doesn't see you in the lobby. Are you in B2? Go down, meet him in the lobby. Okay. All right. You need to create a VIP campaign too. There's gonna be people who will consistently refer you. You cannot lose touch with those VIP people that constantly refer you, right? And I'm gonna do this with some of the doormen at these co-ops, right? The holidays coming up. I'm giving them a holiday card with some gifts, right? Because they refer me business and I'm not gonna lose that relationship with them. The supers as well. You keep in close contact with your VIP people and your VIP people list should be building. Okay.
Just curious, how many people do you have in your VIP list?
Oh, I don't know. I gotta look.
Even the people
that and we're gonna talk about this next week about online presence. You should be part of every community group on your Facebook chat. Like I do the stupidest things just so that my name is out there. And because I know all the buildings, right now is the season where people's packages gets lost. And I'm like, people are like, does anyone recognize this building? I'm like, that's the Greenbrier, 68, 61, you never know. So I became, and it's so funny because Cindy and Michelle would be on the chat, like Lily's gonna be the new lost and found agent, for packages. But the whole point is I want my name in the community that I am serving. Yeah.
Do you know that your name come up with the ChatGPT and say need recommendation for broker?
My name? Oh, see? So I want you guys check ChatGPT, because people will probably go to that now before Google, right? Olga just told me that my name comes up when she asked
The
it.
seller called me and I asked her where you get my number and she said I chat GPT. So
Oh,
I did the same thing.
yeah,
Her name comes up and my name.
see?
I just asked, I need 3 brokers in for sales.
Mm-hmm.
Because when she told me, I was like, I said, did you Google it? She said, no, I just chat GPT.
We're gonna talk about online presence tomorrow, next week, and how to become searchable. If you are invisible to Google, and if you are invisible to now ChatGPT, you're invisible to the public, right? So for the next week, I want you guys to think about your brand, your neighborhood, and what sort of campaign you're gonna build in order to create an actual business for yourself 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Because that's the biggest pain point that I see a lot of agents doing. Like they're in this business 5 years, 10 years, but it's like their first year still. They're not building their brand properly. Okay, and you're just chasing business and the business isn't chasing you. Okay. All right, we're gonna end. Anyone have questions on Zoom?
I think, do I listen all the campaign, did you, how to like follow those campaigns? Did you train, how lesson people?
No, I want you guys to think of your own campaigns, right? I mean, consistency and how frequent really depends on the situation. And I gave that example, like if you're door knocking and the seller is not moving until 12 months later, or they plan to retire in 12 months, you're not reaching out to them in 12 months. You have to tell them why you're gonna keep updating them on the market, right? And I said that with Ram, he should say, you know, I'm gonna make sure that you're the most educated seller when the time comes for you to sell, right? So every time there's a new listing that you're gonna be in competition with, whenever there's a property that goes under contract that's a direct comparable to yours, I'm gonna make sure that you're aware of it. And we have our pulse on the market so that once it's time for us to list your property, we know exactly how it should be positioned, right? So your following up really depends on the situation. If a buyer is not buying anything for 12 months, then you have a different campaign for them. If someone needs to buy something, and I met someone where they need to buy something and they want to close within the next month or two, they should be in a different category than someone who's looking to buy something 12 months from now.
So just a
Right.
case by case.
Yeah, but you have to build campaigns, yeah, and then, and it shouldn't just be emails, you should actually call too.
Yeah, I have to
Right.
go back and check one by one.
Is it a slower month for people now that we're in December? Is it slower? Hmm?
I think it's slow.
I don't know.
You don't know?
I think it's better than a few months ago. For me, August, during that few months, like I have that. I don't know how you get it.
Yes, I think.
Right.
During the August.
The August is like a horrible.
Yeah, so.
July, August, September. It's so weird. Now I also have that client come back right now. They start active.
I think maybe school's out and everyone's on vacation with their kids, July, August, prior to school starting. It might be that if that's your market. But I mean, things are a little slower, but I'm still getting listings, you know, I have a photo shoot coming up. But it's definitely not like the spring market, you know. I think this is a good time for you to definitely touch your database now, right? Even if it's just to wish them a happy holidays.
Yeah, that's good to follow up
Yeah.
on happy holiday. Oh, also, if you get really well, and if you know your client really well, bring bottom wine for happy holiday. I'm 100% they will refer you to holiday.
So,
I did this when I first 3 years in my business. That's
Yeah.
how I build it. I stop by, I bring bottom wine.
you don't do it anymore?
I don't do anymore.
You see?
But I.
So the
I
whole purpose is you gotta be consistent with your campaigns. If you were consistently doing that year after year after year, do you think your business would be at a different place?
Yeah. I mean, yes, last year I did it, but I did only half of it. I didn't go full, but I'm thinking this year I have.
Yeah, so you guys gotta make a commitment, like, what are you gonna do consistently in 2026? Like I said, break it down into quarters. And break it down into what exactly you're gonna do first quarter, second quarter, third, fourth quarter. And be consistent, don't give yourself excuses and say, I'm not gonna do it.
Before I did it, like one group for Thanksgiving, because you cannot do everybody at the same time. One group for Thanksgiving, one group for Christmas,
Mhm.
New Year, right? Then another group for Chinese New Year. So
Mhm.
I break it down. This year I didn't do for Thanksgiving.
So you could do it for Christmas
Yeah,
or
I
the
do for
holidays.
Christmas.
All right, any other questions? I hope you guys are all going to the holiday party.
Yes. I'll be there.
Okay, all right, I have like 20 something messages to answer. And 5 missed